it's 6:30 p.m. Julie, would you mind calling the roll, please?
Certainly. Katie Courtney.
Here.
Ken Dawson.
Here.
Chris Espinoza.
Here.
April Finan.
Here.
Don Renner.
Here.
Michael Riskey.
Here.
Ryan Enright.
Here.
Romina Papavera Gonzalez.
Here.
Thank you very much.
Having a quorum, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll turn it over to you, Hank, for student perspectives.
All right, I'll invite Arwen up.
This is off to the side. It's appropriately a Arwen height. Just ready to go. Never happens. All right, now I don't know how to move it up for other people.
Just leave it, it'll be fine.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
So I love when it's our turn to do student perspectives. I know Dr. Dement feels the same way. We are so lucky that we have thousands of amazing students to choose from. And this month, my activities director, Jennifer Martinez, and I looked at each other, and we have to celebrate our 2 emerging science clubs that exist in our building right now. Both clubs have become immensely popular and impactful very quickly. So we have 2 students here from each of the 2 groups who are going to share the amazing work they're doing. So I'm going to start by introducing science teacher Kelsey Gibney, and then she will introduce our students representing SWE Next, and then she'll also introduce our students representing the next club.
Hello, my name is Kelsey Gibney. I'm a science teacher at South, and I'm also the sponsor for the SWE Next Club. That's an emerging science club this year. So we have 2 students from SWE Next that are really excited to share with you what they've been doing. And then following them, we have 2 students from our new Science Health Club that are going to share with you what they've been up to this year. So I'm going to turn it over to our students.
Hi, my name is Ellie Hanlon and I'm a junior. And hi, I'm Emma Herman, I'm also a junior. And we are some executive members of the SWE Next Club here at DGS.
Yes. So SWE Next stands for Society of Women Engineers, and Next as in Next Generation. So we are a club focused on promoting like women in STEM careers, STEM interests, and also we are inclusive to everyone. I mean, yes, it's women in the name, but we are welcome. Like we have everyone. We have guys. Everyone is welcome. Please stop laughing at me. Sorry.
When you want me to advance, you can just tell me to advance.
We, in SWE Next, we often do, we explore different careers. We meet every other Tuesday. So we meet twice a month. And so what we do is we do like themed days. So we do stuff like, our next meeting, there's 10 of us on leadership, and so next meeting we're planning to do a marine biology type theme, and we're going to do a bunch of activities surrounding that. And we also create just like a safe space to explore anything you could want to do in the future.
Yeah, we've had architecture days where we built Legos. We had like a shake table, so like you could see which one was the most sturdy, and we had a guest speaker come in.
We did. If you want to go to the next slide, we have a picture of that. So we've had some guest speakers. We've had an architect by the name of Joyce Hanlon. She came in and talked, and she's worked on things like the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library and things like that. We've also had Dr. Elizabeth Kozak, I don't know if I'm saying that right, who's an associate professor and also a director of dental hygiene at Lewis University. And so it's super cool to have people like that come in and talk to us about all that stuff. Also, one of the key things we've done specifically this year is we did this super cool thing called the Halloween machine, as you can see up there. It's a giant Rube Goldberg machine that we put in the back of a pickup truck. It was made entirely by club members, decorated entirely by club members, and the whole thing was run and designed by club members. And so at the top, we had a string that kids would pull, and it would release a golf ball, which would go down either track, and at the end it would hit that bucket, and it would open, and there was lights, and they could pick out a candy. And so yeah, that was one of them. And we've done a bunch of other super cool things.
Yeah, like what we're doing right now, we have a period product drive in all of the science classrooms.
That's on the next slide.
Next slide.
Yeah, so we have these boxes where people can just drop off different period products and they get distributed across Chicago.
We're donating specifically to the Period Collective in downtown Chicago, which is a Chicago-based and run women's donation spot where you collect things like pads, tampons, stuff like that, and they like give those out to local women's shelters and stuff like that. We're also participating in the Scarce Sustainability Design Challenge in April of this year, and so that entails like you get to create a team of up to 4 people, and your team works on you get to design your own, I'm trying to think the word, design your own like sustainable building, and you have to plan like where you would put it in the DuPage County, where you would, what you would do with it, how would it be a sustainable thing, how you like manage stormwater, all that type of stuff. Yeah, and so our future plans are we're planning to do more like STEM challenges and competitions, and I was gonna say the next part.
We're also going to continue having more speakers come in, and we're also going to have an outreach with like middle school students and like elementary students, because we want to build a strong foundation of women in STEM.
Yeah. Do we have any questions?
How many kids are participating in your club at this point?
Oh gosh.
There's about 40 registered. We'll usually get maybe 15 at each meeting, just because a lot of these kids happen to be kids that are involved in lots of things.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is your inaugural year, is that right?
Yes.
And whose idea was this to form the club?
So we have 5
Presidents.
we have 5 different presidents. We have a lot of people in leadership.
You guys like a bank?
We have 10 people in leadership, but there are 5 founders who all got together and made this plan around doing the SweNext thing, but also all 10 people in leadership did a lot of like crowdfunding, because it took a lot of steps to actually get to this point of being able to be a real club. So everyone got out, and we had these like sign-up sheets where we took everybody who think they could want to do it, and they did it, and we had all this stuff to make sure it happened, and it took everybody to do that. Yeah.
What are you guys planning on studying in secondary education?
I'm planning to go to college for child development to become a child life specialist who works in children's hospitals.
I'm planning on majoring in physics.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions? No? All right. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donna Garcia de la Cruz, and I am HSAFP president.
My name is Stephanie Hernandez Plata, and I am the HSAFP vice president.
And our word HSAFP is really hard for a lot of people to pronounce. But I think it has a great meaning, because it stands for the High School Alliance of Future Physicians. And like, that is what we're dedicated for, to cultivate that network for those students that are passionate about medicine and are planning to pursue medicine in the future. And we also provide that early exposure to like all the diverse medical careers and specialties in the medical field, as well as the different pathways they can take. And through the activities we do, we prepare students to think, collaborate, and problem solve, just like healthcare professionals would do.
Okay, so we've been doing a lot of things so far. We've brought in a good number of guest speakers from different medical fields. We've had people from nursing, we've had physical therapists, we had pharmacists come in. Well, not really, virtually.
That's still.
Yeah. And we've had a lot of different activities from, again, different medical fields. We've also done volunteer work. We've made cards for.
It was a Good Samaritan Hospital physicians.
Yeah, Good Samaritan Hospital. And we're always trying to offer students opportunities for webinar and other volunteering opportunities outside of school. and just different things that could open them up to different medical fields.
And looking ahead, we are looking forward to introducing our new leadership team, which we are going to finalize this month, choosing our officers for next year, since all the board is going to be seniors, so we're going to be graduating this year. And we're also looking forward to possibly doing a dance marathon fundraiser at a lower scale, since as being an emerging club, things have been really fast. And we also want to go into more hands-on experience with specimens for the students in our club, just so they can gain that experience with actual living things. And we also are looking forward to our virtual reality emergency department escape room. I think that's going to be really fun. And similar to SweetNext, every month is designated to a specific career. This month is going to be radiology. We're going to have a radiologist come in to speak to the students, and we are going to be doing kind of like a trivia with it, a game show actually, game show. Yeah, and for our next steps, we hope that our leadership team that's going to take over is able to participate in school-wide dance marathon, which we have talked with our activities director. She said it would be better for next year if we can do it more at the scale that it's usually done, since it's a big event usually. And fully launching our HSAFP HOSA co-chapter, since by the end of first semester, we were able to get a co-chapter with HOSA, but we weren't able to fully be active in it since it was really late in the year. And also we wanted to have more hands-on experience and interactive activities for students to gain those skills that are going to be essential for them, not only in college and labs, but also in their future careers. And we also want to expand those connections with those medical professionals, just so when students get out there in college and in their careers, they have those connections to gain those, I'm sorry, to gain into the field with a secure foundation and knowledge with people they can be comfortable with speaking to and gain more opportunities that way.
All right. Any questions for our students?
What areas of medicine are the two of you interested in pursuing in college and beyond?
I'm very interested in cardiology, and Stephanie is actually not planning on going into medicine.
That's all right.
Yeah, but she has been really active with this club and helping us make this possible.
How many members are in your club?
So on Google Classroom, we have over 100, but on average, every meeting we have about 20 consistent members.
That's great.
That's great.
Great job.
One thing I just wanted to share in closing, with emerging clubs, they come from student-driven interests. So the students that you see tonight, they come forward to us and they say, we are interested in starting this. And then they actually recruit our adult sponsors, like Ms. Gibney and Ms. Cal, who's not here tonight, but just big, big credit to the student leadership that you see from these four, and then just to our teachers who, when students say, I want to do this, and they're like, okay, let's go do it together. We're just really, really proud as a DGS community. So thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
All right, student board members, who's up first this month?
I'll be going first. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to see so many people here, some familiar faces. I wanted to start off by saying that I'm really glad that we were able to highlight those emerging clubs. Like Ms. Lip said, it's very important that students feel heard and that their passions and interests, that they feel comfortable to pursue those, and that we provide those resources for them. So for the report, for the student body, there continues to be the very strong push on the messaging that every day matters. We continue to remind students that it's not only important to be in class every day, but also being engaged with your teachers, asking questions, just being present. We have, I think, overall seen that doing that truly leads students to be successful, and those small choices do truly make a difference. With the phone scanning, everything has been going well. It's routine. There's no problems. I will say it's mostly, again, just routine. Nothing has truly been a glaring problem. We continue to see effects of that. Again, with students being more engaged in class, more engaged with each other, and overall that skill of holding yourself accountable. I think you can see truly throughout every area. You can see it when students are doing their homework, during lunch, instead of just being on their phone. You can see it, again, with the action of just going up there and scanning in. And overall, those habits will build off and truly help students not only in school, but also outside of school as well. With activities, we have the very exciting Polar Plunge coming up. So this is in support of the Special Olympics of Illinois, and it's just a great way to raise money for an incredible cause, and it's a good way for students to get involved. We had a lot of different activities participating at the state level. We had our speech team, gymnastics, bowling. We had the boys swim and dive. So overall, just those winter activities wrapping up, and we've seen this week, next week, our spring activities starting. There's been a lot of tryouts starting, such as soccer, softball, baseball. Those are all starting again, and everyone's very excited. We also have the choir concert this week, and other activities such as the Jazz Cafe next week. And overall, like I said, students are very engaged and motivated as we head into the final stretch of the year. And then with resources, the College and Career Center continues to provide students with opportunities to explore not only careers, but also provide them with help such as financial aid and help overall with colleges. They are holding a week where they bring in career speakers. They're also having things such as workshops and military day, and overall, again, helping students with just giving them the resources they need and the support they need to truly be successful in their career, not only in high school, but after as well. Thank you.
Question for you. Now that we're in the second semester, students have had a chance to really get into the flow of the school year. How effective has the cell phone policy been in terms of keeping students engaged in the classroom?
Yeah, I think it has definitely helped. I've noticed a difference. I think that students are aware of just how much it truly the true impact that it has to, again, just put the distraction away. Even if it's just in your backpack, they understand that that is what's best for their learning. And again, what those small decisions are what makes them successful. And I think that knowledge, as well as just teachers having the materials to kind of enforce those rules, I personally think has truly helped keep students motivated and overall throughout the whole year focus on those goals.
Cool, great.
Well, good evening, everyone. As always, Romina always covers everything and leaves me with so much to talk about. But other than that, this week has been super fun, and this shows as such a pivotal week. And even next week are such pivotal weeks in the school year for all students, whether that be grades, activities, and spring sports are starting. So Romina said that spring sports are starting, like softball, soccer, baseball, and volleyball. And there's a lot of excitement in the building. Tryouts are happening. I know we have volleyball tryouts next week. We had baseball and soccer tryouts this morning, so everyone's super excited about that. this Thursday, we're taking 50 students to the DECA State competition, which was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Super exciting. This is the biggest year yet where we've been able to take 50 different students. I mean, and they're ranging they're not just seniors and juniors, they're freshmen, sophomores, in all 4 grades, and that's something really cool to see. Going back a little bit, I love seeing that we're representing some of the newer clubs and seeing that our administration and principals are investing in those student ideas and hearing out what students want to learn from and the things that they want to be involved in. I think it's so cool that they have the opportunity to start their own clubs and find their own sponsor. Other than that, going back to the phone policy, phones, we have not been using the pouches. I know me and Romina have definitely talked about what it's like in that implementation in the classroom. And from my perspective, mostly the phones have stayed away, and that self-regulation piece is the most important part. For me, the phones kind of stay in the backpack. It's kind of on the desk to the side, but people are not on it like this. And if they are, there's a verbal warning, there's a warning from the teacher, and then there's a follow through with whatever consequence that they find is applicable for the situation. But the phone policy, I think, is working, and we've talked about this before. We think it's important that students have that self-regulation, and that's honestly what I'm seeing. Same thing with scanning in. Scanning in it's just like routine. And I think what's interesting to point out is we've had live security come through the building. So if somebody forgets to scan in, security's doing a sweep through the building and see who's not at their classes and stuff, just to make sure that everyone's being present and being engaged and fully present where their classes are. So, for instance, I mean, in 3 of my classes, I think it was last week, a few classes, somebody forgot to scan in, security just double-checked that they were there, and that was that. Other than that, scholarship season's in full swing. College admissions, people kind of got their decisions back, but the late and regular decisions are coming out, so there's a lot of excitement about that. The everyday branding and engagement and being engaged and fully present when you're in class has continued to stick out. This week is Spirit Week. Dr. Thiele, I don't know where your matching set is. I don't know.
I got a suit on.
It's okay. It's me. Anyways, other than that, working on keeping the commons clean has been a huge goal too with our student advisory board. We meet once a month, and I'm excited to meet with them too to talk about some other things that are going on around the building. But one problem that came up was keeping our commons clean, and we've been doing that. And our custodian rewards 1 table per lunch period, and whatever the cleanest table is, they get a prize. And I think that's such a cool way to reward not only the people that are being responsible and throwing away their garbage, but it just teaches students that they need to take care of their space and appreciate the things that they have. So spring break's coming up. Everyone's super excited for that. And other than that, please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
What kind of prizes?
What kind of prizes? I think it's a ticket, right? A ticket to student activities, and it's a big candy bar.
Very nice.
All I know is I was there a few weeks ago when they announced the table
That's a
that
good idea.
won.
Yeah.
And it was as big as seeing who won American Idol. Like,
Oh, and the
the
t-shirt
t-shirt
cannon.
cannon.
Can't forget about the t-shirt cannon.
Oh, very fun.
Yep. So it's such a great idea to reward that behavior. Yeah.
So I like that we're hearing that you both feel at school, at the campuses, that the cell phones, we're not seeing them as much. What about AirPods?
AirPods, definitely a factor in what I've been seeing. And I think there's an expectation when instructional time's happening, the AirPods should be away. But when someone's doing independent work or reading or kind of doing things like that, I think there's been this kind of normalization that the AirPod's always going to be there. Me personally, I'm not much of an AirPod person.
Is that a normalization?
I mean,
I teach at a middle school, so as soon as they walk in, like I'm checking ears as they walk by.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like, are we seeing a lot of white ears?
yeah, and I feel like that's just a normal thing.
It is at the discretion of the classroom teacher, right? So if the classroom teacher asked for them to go away and a student didn't comply, that would be a violation of our rules.
And they do.
Well, I mean, I think it's something that we should definitely be aware of. We are so focused on the cell phone. The cell phone we know is connected to in many situations.
No,
Yeah, if they're disrupting learning, the AirPods or a watch or any electronic device would be covered by our policy.
Yeah, and
So you notice in the classrooms when they're in,
yeah,
these
no,
are coming out.
they're definitely not allowed during pivotal moments in the classroom, especially during instruction time, whether you're working with people. Romina, have you seen a little bit of that?
I've seen it again, but as soon as it's like a problem or the teacher notices or it's just not the appropriate time for those things, it's immediately like a quick, hey, can you take out your AirPod? And it goes away immediately. There's no retaliation. There's no time. It's immediately goes away.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize that that's just something that people like to do and feel comfortable with, and there's a time and place for it, right? And when my teacher's up there presenting or teaching a lesson, it should obviously not be in. But if you're sitting in class and it's there and you just put your AirPods in because you're working on homework, I think most teachers are kind of okay with that. Yeah.
One question for both of you, and it's likely something you won't be able to answer tonight, but to think about for a while. As you've been on this side of the board for the past couple of months, and we're getting closer to the end of the year, if each of you could think about one policy that you would try and implement if you were an elected board member, by the end of your time on this board, like if you come back one of the last meetings, just sit and think about, if you were in our shoes, what would you try to advocate for?
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. That's
I'm interested
a good
to
question
see.
to think about.
We'll think about it.
There's so many different things we could talk about here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me and Romina will collab.
Yes. Talk about it.
Collaborate. Other than that, let us know if you have any other questions.
Any other homework to be assigned to our board members?
Be careful, he's gonna come back and give you homework.
Well, you need a matching set next time.
You'll have to tell me what that is.
All right, we're moving on to item number 4 for a workshop.
All right, I invite members of the Education Foundation forward to present checks to grant recipients.
Good evening, it's always a pleasure to be here, and we have not been here too often, but we're here now. We're presenting 3 wonderful grants, and I'm hoping that you'll get to learn a little bit about them. I'm Julia Beckman. I have the honor to be the president of the foundation board, and Donna Dawson is with me, who's our vice president, who does a great job of chairing the grants committee, and Martha Morillas. You know both these people. Martha Morillas is also on that grants committee, so they're going to tell you all about them.
All right, thanks, Julie. Okay, so hi, everybody. I'm Donna. We're going to start off with, like Julia said, we have 3 grant projects that we're going to review today. We're going to start off with Jeff Grant, and Jeff's going to talk about the rainforest.
Grant for grants.
Grant for grants.
Yeah. And guess what street runs into Downers Grove North? Grant. Yes. So my kids actually were here multiple months ago because this is somewhat of their brainchild as part of Science Club, is to create a rain garden. So a rain garden, if you don't have perspective, I have another next slide advances and kind of talks a little bit about it. I'll let you read, but the gist is because of ecological footprints that a lot of man-made structures like large high schools and sidewalks and driveways and parking lots change routing systems of water. It goes into sewer systems faster, it goes into lakes and rivers faster, and it doesn't allow nature to clean that water before it gets back to the water table. So the kids thought this would be a fantastic thing for us to do as Science Club and try to implement. So I kind of stood back and said, I'll be the bureaucrat and write emails because I'm good at that kind of stuff. And I was like, there's a foundation that could provide us with money, that could get us the plants that we need to put into the rain garden. So they pitched it to Courtney and Michelle and Ken, and I forgot Mike Hines was department chair at the time, about where it was going to go. They did all the research. So they brought in, I had a connection with the American Geoscience Institute and a couple other groups to come in and teach them some science about some of this. And then they laid it all out. They used GPS and figured out where on the property would be a good place. We pitched it to the department and to the school. They said this would be a great trial run. And then, next slide, they did it, right? So right before, and you don't see it, but I think the temperature that day was a good 89 in the shade. So the sweat was definitely pouring off all of us. And if you don't know anything about when buildings put in the soil sciences, we call that builder's loam, which is like all the riffraff from putting in schools and stuff. They just kind of bury it under a half inch of soil. so that grass grows, and that's really bad for percolation of water. So we had to dig some serious holes to put all of these beautiful native plants, all purchased through Piso, which is, if you don't know Piso, they actually came to our Climate of Hope as well, which we'll talk about later. But the foundation grant gave us all this fantastic money to buy all those native plants. And next slide. Here they are again, putting it all in. So that's, if you don't know perspective of where that picture is taken, that's an administrative lot on the south side of the school. So that's the walkway into one of the areas there. And you can't really see it in the picture where you're at right now, but there's a sewage cap, a stormwater cap. The water runs in through that location. So we're trying to capture all that with the native plants and get it down into the water table instead of going into the actual sewer system. So next slide. Is it working? I don't know, right? Well, like that's science for you, right? It takes years for these plants to grow and mature, but the nice thing is with buying plants that are full plugs, they've already had 2 or 3 years of nurturing in the ground, so they have real good root stock. So hopefully this spring we'll start seeing some growth and maybe even some flowers. We picked plants that would be applicable to our school, so a lot of purples and whites and yellows. So yeah, so that's the gist. And if you don't like it, you can leave.
For only $600.
Yeah, for $600.
It was a bargain, wasn't it?
Yeah, so, and we even have some leftovers that we're gonna put in this spring as well.
Good,
So
good.
Yeah, they're all in dormancy right now in the classroom, so. Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing it.
Great idea.
Question?
Wonderful idea.
Question for you. How far down is the water table?
It depends on where you're at elevation-wise. So that place that we're at right now, we GPSed, and the slope of the land is just enough to run everything from sidewalks and that parking lot towards that drainage cap. I don't know, so I could easily figure this out, but I just don't have the computer in front of me, how far down the water table is. But if you think about it, most of the water from the Downers Grove area is going to feed into the DuPage River. So that was notoriously dirty like 30, 40 years ago. It's much cleaner now. We actually have life in those rivers now. I mean, I'm serious, like 40, 50 years ago, I literally just talked with my Envirothon group about 2 weeks ago with the U of I professor that said DuPage River is one of the worst in the state. And now we're to the point where it's a lot cleaner. We have fish in there. He said he doesn't see a lot of the native oysters and like mussels and, you know, I'm trying to give you like exemplar species in those rivers yet, but there's hope, right? So doing things like this decrease ecological footprint to feed those rivers with clean water. So
cool, great.
Yeah.
Really great.
Sorry, sciencing you. Any other?
What types of plants are you putting in?
Yeah, so we put in coneflower, so purple. We put in butterfly milkweed. So even though it says we don't freak, right? It's a native plant that is good foraging for monarch butterflies and a lot of other butterflies, and they're not a super tall one like the common milkweed gets, 5-6 feet tall. These are more bush type species. What else do we put in? Liatris, which is blazing star. And then we did a sedge as well. So we had like a grass-esque species in there. So a nice mix of purple and orange and greens. So, yeah.
So again, you say you will see hopefully some growth in the spring.
Or we'll definitely see growth.
Okay.
We'll better see growth. Hopefully we'll see flowering this spring. Yeah, we'll see. Sometimes species take 3-4 years before they actually produce flowers. So we're hopeful that we'll start seeing some effects from that.
Are there any other spots at Downers Grove North or South that you guys see in the future where you can
Fancy
mix
you said that, Ryan. So if this goes really well, if you know Downers Grove North, the whole front, so off Main Street, the sidewalk that's there pitches directly at the school, and there's 3 or 4 more water caps. Might be really cool to have the whole front of the building look native. Just saying. So,
with colors too?
set you up, yeah. Yeah, yes, with
school
colors.
colors,
That'd be
yeah.
fantastic, so.
Do you know of any other districts or buildings in schools in the area that are doing similar projects?
Yeah, the Conservation Foundation, they're actually at Climate of Hope as well. Beth Palouse, I talked with her. Jefferson did something across the front of, I'm trying to think directionality here, south side of their building, along that long parking lot area. They did a nice strip of, I would say, 3 foot wide all the way down the walkway, the sidewalk there. And the same intent there is to just try to infiltrate, because native plants have deeper roots than just topsoil bluegrass. So that makes the soil a lot better and allows the water to go down faster. So I think Jefferson for sure. Golly, you put me on the spot. I can't remember all the ones that she had mentioned, but there's several in the area. And their whole goal is, they have 2 programs, conservation at home, conservation at school. So we are officially a conservation at school. And we have a signage that is out front for the rain garden as well. So.
Great.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Of course,
Cool.
yeah.
Thank you.
I'll be back up in a second. I'll go in the middle. She's my former teacher.
Mine too.
He was my student at one time.
He graduated last year.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's keep moving. That sounds so exciting. Right now, I bet all of us are gonna be in our cars the next couple days, going around looking for that. I know I will. So, okay, so up next, last week at both Downers North and South, they brought in a wonderful author. I had an opportunity to sit and participate and have lunch with this wonderful author. And so we have Kim Pokowski and Allison Bava, who will share how well that event went.
Hello, everyone. Could you go to the next slide? Thank you. So last week, last Monday and Tuesday, we had the pleasure of having Lamar Giles speak to students at both of our schools. Thank you so much to the foundation for helping us cover that cost. Lamar Giles is a young adult and middle school author. He has written 13 books. He's been on the Lincoln Award, which, if you're familiar with that, is an Illinois librarian, English teacher, and student-based award. And so his most recent book, The Getaway, or his second most recent book, The Getaway, was on there 2 years ago. And he is just an author that is really popular. Students really enjoy him, so we were able to bring him in. He spoke about the writing process. He talked about inspiration, how he comes up with his ideas. He started off his presentation talking about kind of how many of his young adult books are horror and thriller. So he talked about when he first got involved, really kind of learned to appreciate controlled fear is a good way to write a book. Believe it or not, very funny story behind that. And so we were able to bring him in last week, and lots of students were able to see him. So if you could switch to the next slide. Thank you.
So this is what happened at Downers Grove North. We had 3 class periods, so he spoke during 3rd, 4th, and 8th. It was important for us to have a lunch period in there so that any students who wanted to drop in during lunches could. And also if our book club members wanted to drop in, they could during any of those periods. It covered 13 classes. There were 322 students present, and that was over 8 teachers. That includes co-teachers in some of the classes. So we had a couple pictures. The first picture on the left is during one of the sessions, and you can see they all look like that. They were all quite packed. We had seating for 120 in each hour, and it was mostly full. In the middle picture, we've been really working to create a strong relationship with Herrick Middle School, with their library in particular. And so Jeff Berger, who's their librarian, and one of their English teachers brought over 28 students, which was wonderful. Mariella Siegert's our book club sponsor. She's already trying to recruit them to be in the book club. So that was really fun to have them during our 4th hour. They just walked over, which was a great opportunity. And now we're flipping that on its head, and Mariella is going to probably bring a group over to Herrick later in the year for an author visit there. On the right-hand side, you can see he's talking to a number of students. He was signing books, he was talking to students, and they were really expressing to him how much they valued him being there, him in particular, but also just having authors come to visit. Some of them were getting very sentimental with him. It was actually really amazing to see. This was actually after school for quite a while. And so we got wonderful feedback from the teachers, wonderful feedback from the students. I mean, if we could have him again, we absolutely would, in another 4 years, but he was really wonderful. And you could go to the next.
And then the next day he spoke at South. We also had him speak for 3 periods. He spoke to 17 classes over those periods, 18 different teachers, a little over 350 students joined us. Very own Donna was able to join us for lunch and sit through a couple of his presentations. the picture that's in the middle with the student, we actually had a class, one of our teachers who teaches an English class, Patrick Hayes, had his students read The Last Days of Summer, which is a book about if time froze when you take a picture, and how this group of students tried to fix everything that was going on. So this student in particular came with his prop of his camera, because that kind of froze time in this book. And so they had an opportunity, all students had an opportunity to talk to the author after the fact, and have autographed books. This particular class each had their own copy of the book, so they each got to talk to him and have him autograph the books after the fact, which was thrilling. And we got some feedback from them afterwards, and I think my favorite comment from one of the students was that he was literally the best and kindest author they've ever met, and that they were impressed that he inspired so many authors as well, because he talked about some of the organizations he's involved with. So yeah, it was just a fantastic experience, and we are really grateful to the foundation for helping us pay for that, so thank you.
Grateful to you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Putting it together.
Putting it together.
Oh, here she comes.
Question for you.
Oh, sorry.
Are his books available for purchase at our local bookstores or in Barnes and Noble?
Yes, we actually partnered with Anderson's.
Oh,
and we
great,
had books
great.
on site at both schools, and students could purchase those. And Anderson's offers discounts too, and of course it's tax-free. So students were able to buy books on site and have them signed. And they can also go into Anderson's. We try to encourage students to go to Anderson's for their reading needs, so whenever we can. So that was really, they're always wonderful to work with.
That's fantastic. I think, it's so hard. It's so hard for the small local bookstores to survive, and our connection with Anderson is really, really important. Very
Yeah,
good.
they do a wonderful job.
That's great. Yeah.
So it looked like about 600 students. How many of the students had come with knowledge of one of his pieces, one of his books? They've read, they came, they kind of had an idea of what to look for?
We had some teachers, so like for example, Brittany Mitchell teaches our writing for broadcast class. So she had the students, they had questions. So she always has the students do a little pre-research. Some of the students had read our book club. You could pick any of his books for that month. And then of course Kim said that they had a class. Read the book.
And with him, especially one of his books being on the Lincoln Award just a year ago, we had many students
Who have read
that
it.
recognized him right away, sought out, we had an opportunity to provide some field trip opportunities to students that couldn't come with the class, but really wanted to see. We had a student that really wants to be a writer, so he came and asked if he could come. So we were able to get him a field trip for the period to see the author. So certainly not the majority of them have read his books, but many have.
So many have.
I don't know the percentage though.
I
No,
will
but,
say-
yeah, sounds awesome.
I will say, usually when we do author visits, it's like, ugh, another author. But
I was
this,
there.
I was there, and I got to see this author. And he didn't just talk about like the book, he talked about the book writing process and being an author as a career choice and how that career is changing. And he just talked about the creation process and how important it is to be creative and not write for somebody else, write for yourself. And I thought that was really cool. So it was a great opportunity.
And he did a good job too of, he left a lot of time at the end,
Yeah, for
15 to 20
questions.
minutes at the end for questions,
Yeah.
and usually they were like, ooh,
That's gonna.
how's that gonna go? But he had these amazing question starters,
Yeah,
and one of them
starters,
was he
yes.
stepped on Beyonce's foot, and it just got the kids rolling.
Yeah, usually it's awkward at the end.
Yeah,
but
it
this
was
time
not
really
awkward
wasn't.
at all. Like the
people
bell
really
rang,
engaged.
and students after 8th hour were still just watching, and they weren't moving.
Yeah.
So he was wonderful. Yeah.
Great.
Are there plans for other authors in the future?
We like to ask the author that's there who they recommend, because when we've kind of always done that, we're just like, who do you recommend? And he said something like, my friend Tiffany, and we were like, are you talking about Tiffany Jackson? So for us, it was like, these are like stars to us. This is our jam. So, and then there's another local author that Kim and I have talked about that focuses on nonfiction, because we really try to mix it up. She's from Wheaton.
Yeah, I think it's
right?
Wheaton.
Candace
Fleming.
Candace Fleming.
So writes young adult, middle school and elementary school nonfiction, so she's on our list to.
She's on our list
reach
as
out to.
well.
Her newest book is also on the Lincoln, the newly released Lincoln list, so, yeah. So we have a couple that we always have in the background.
To try to hook them before the price goes up.
That's amazing.
Anything else?
It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, let's face everyone.
Who joined us? Oh, we gotta take two. Yeah, you did pick from.
I know, really. I got a spot.
Be ready. Right. She's so
My reading glasses and be like,
Hopefully we look
good. We should,
All right,
we should have
guys.
posed.
We have one left, and Allison's gonna stay up here.
Not finished with me yet.
No, we're not finished with her yet. She's got more to share. And this one's pretty cool. I can't wait to hear more about it too. Her MetaQuest.
Okay, so we, since I started at North 9 years ago, we always had virtual reality, but those devices they were becoming obsolete in that it was really, tech was working, our school, you know, our building tech is amazing, and it was becoming very difficult for them to work with those because they weren't connecting to, I mean, Hank can speak to this, they weren't connecting to the network really well, the guest network was getting in the way. So we did a lot of research to determine what we wanted next, because virtual reality helps us to work with a lot of departments. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, libraries only work with English departments, which is not the case at Downers North and South, but this helps us to work in areas outside of research. So we did research and we found these, we started looking into MetaQuests, but they're very expensive. And so we wanted to purchase 6 of them, and also the learning management system, because the learning management system helps us to push out content all at once. So if we are going from a science class quickly to a CTE classroom to a social studies classroom, we could do that in a short amount of time because everything can be pushed out quickly. So it was an extra fee. We purchased them through CDW, and this allows us to present AI generated videos or actual videos in 3D. So when you have the headset on and you look around, I mean, I'm sure you've seen commercials, you look around, it's as if they're in the space, right? And then in the middle, you see that's what the device looks like. So this,
Sorry, I clicked
That's
too
right. So we partnered with our tech team, CDW, and then we've already collaborated with teachers on this. So could you go back really quickly? So the next 3 slides are very short clips of what they might see. The first one is going to be if you were studying cells in a biology class, which Marielle already discussed with the science department chair over there. Marielle is one of our librarians. The second one, we've already had virtual reality visits to ancient ruins in social studies courses, so this would be, that's what the next one is. And then the third one is as if someone was fixing an engine. So that's something that we could work in multiple STEM areas, right? Science, CT. So those are the 3 that you'll see first. So if you could now just go through the next 3.
I mean, you're gonna be my clicker, computer. I need you to click that,
I don't think it's right here.
yeah, to get it going. Nope, go back. With the mouse, if you could click the little play button.
So that would be what they would see if they were in, you know, in someone's bloodstream. Brian could explain that more better than I could, so good job.
All right, arrow to the next one. Just hit the arrow button. Will now work. Nice. Oh, there you go.
So these are some of the ancient ruins. We visited China and Africa and multiple different places in social studies classes. And this is the engine.
Wow.
So we're building off of the virtual reality lessons that we've already taught. We've already visited the ancient ruins. We've already ridden roller coasters, visited the cherry blossoms and different classes, and we're trying to build that up. And Marielle is doing a great job of creating those collaborative relationships with teachers in order to do that. We already celebrated Dia de los Muertos, and we have a big event in the library every year for that, and there's multiple stations, and one of those stations is virtual reality, and this year we use the MetaQuests. And so the next slide is another video, sorry, of Mariella Seegert working with a small group of students and they are visiting an ofrenda, and they are also sitting in a cultural dinner that they are studying through the culture. So our next step is I also just applied for a grant through Rails, which is the Reaching Across Illinois Library System. That is a big grant that caps out at $5,000 because 6, gives us a small group, but if we could get 16, then it allows us to work with half the class and have a couple extras. So that it gives teachers some flexibility in how they're using the MetaQuests in class, and that also have the students doing other things besides the MetaQuest that day. Yeah.
Can you use these as a substitute for dissections?
You can watch a dissection on them, yes. So I know that the science department does a great job. They actually have a live dissection, which they sometimes host in the library.
Which some students are.
I have to look away from every year.
Right, but some students are squeamish
Yes.
about the actual dissections.
Yes. You could, anything that you could do live, we could find. So MetaQuest actually has their own library, content library, which is free because we have a learning management system. But we can also find 360 videos on YouTube like we used to do. So it's really anything. It's like when one of the INLD teachers in the INLD area was like, we want the students to visit cherry blossoms. I was like, oh, okay. And I found some videos, and we visited the cherry blossoms in DC. So it's really anything you can
possibilities.
do live. Yeah.
Is there a specific group of students that has access to this, or is it all levels and all grades?
All levels, all grades, and in the grant that I applied for through Rails, I asked for a cart because I'll use science as an example again. Sometimes when we're working with them, they want to be in their labs. So we don't want them to have to be stuck in the devices to be stuck in the library. So the part of that grant was to ask for one of the carts so that we can wheel it down. And then sometimes you have students who it's difficult for them to access the library. So it's important for us to make sure that they are in the areas that they need to be in so that they can learn best. So it's important for us to go to them. So we will find another way to travel with them if I don't get that grant. But we just want to make sure that they stay safe so that they don't break. Anything else?
No, this is great.
No?
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys for all your support.
I think they cut you on
I know this was all exciting. The one thing that I would like to leave with you is today, we just opened up our spring grants, and they will run through the end of April. So you know what that means. We'll be back. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I also want to give a quick thank you to the 2 Board of Education members who come and act as the liaisons with April and Katie. And we were very happy to welcome Katie back. But we're very, very grateful because I know your lives are very busy. And thank you to you all for giving us the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to invite Courtney back up. We're going to continue this train rolling on innovative staff this evening.
And the best part is we get more science. So I am really, really thrilled to introduce the 3 people sitting behind me who represent our science department. For a little context, if you don't know, last Friday was one of our professional development days, and it's called the Countywide Institute Day. And most of the schools in DuPage County are all have no students because all of the teachers in our whole entire county get to participate in professional development activities across all of the schools. And we at North were really, really lucky to host our 2nd annual Climate of Hope, which is put on by these 3 wonderful people who I'd like to have come up right now. We first have, again, Mr. Jeff Grant, one of our science teachers. We have Mr. Brian Glaspie, who is our science department chair, and the woman who holds it all together and puts the glue all together for Climate of Hope is Miss Christine Christensen. And so we had over 500 science educators in our building at North High School on Friday, and it was really, really exciting to see all of the science that was happening. So I'm going to turn it over to these guys, and they're going to talk a little bit about the day. So.
We got the purple memo too. Well, we're in purple, so good to, oh, this wasn't on. So it's good to see you all. We were lucky enough to close out our week with wonderful educators and students as well for these two events. Climate of Hope was the Friday, and then Thursday we're going to wrap up and go backwards and talk about Project 2100, which was our first student-led conference as well at Morton Arboretum. And our theme for the Climate of Hope conference is community, conservation, and climate. And all of these logos that you see on this presentation are developed by none other than our students. So they're wonderfully done. You can go to the next one. So a little bit about the Hope Conference. It bridges educators together and gives them perspective. You know, often we work in our silos, we work in our departments, we work in our districts, and it's really that I always look forward to the Institute Day because it's our opportunity to branch out with other educators. And oftentimes, Institute Day will provide professional development instructionally. But this is something none other, and that we allow scientists from all around the country and beyond to come to us to share their real practices. Usually, as you can see on their climatology is really the theme, but we had shark geneticist.
Yep.
What are some other roles that we had, Jeff?
We had an amphibian researcher, we had arborists, we had ice drill scientists, we had
snow physicists.
Yes, we had physicists. Trying to think, we had a coral researcher. So the whole goal is like boots on the ground scientists talking to science teachers so that they can learn the science more. But also we had educational institutions like National Center for Science Education and Illinois Science Teachers, like all these great groups that create lessons to help teachers so that we sent out a survey literally this morning and the feedback coming back is fantastic. Shocker. They're all saying like it was one of the best Institute days that they went to. Sorry, and they walked away with not only knowledge about these topics, but also things that, like, some of them are said, I'm going to put them into play this week. They're already prepackaged and ready to go. And so that's kind of the goal of the conference, is to provide the science knowledge that a lot of teachers need, and that they sometimes don't have enough time to read about on their own, and give them that day to really nerd it out, right? Like, that's the whole goal, is to be nerds for the whole day, so.
And the picture on the left again, student volunteers.
Yep.
Their day off, they chose to come to us
Wow.
and network
Yeah,
with professionals.
that's
Like,
great.
absolute incredible bunch. Next one. So we had some keynote speakers. If you go, there they are. So there's 3 of them. We have Dr. Eric Osterberg on the left. He's an associate professor at Dartmouth University. We also have Dr. Kim. So we had a family team to finish off in the auditorium as a double keynote. Dr. Karen and Dr. Richard Alley. Dr. Karen Alley is University of Manitoba. That's where she works, as well as Dr. Richard Alley at Penn State University. So these are real scientists, like a lot of our other scientists that are leading these breakout sessions. But these 3 did full keynotes in the auditorium for all of us 500 together. And it was just fascinating to see what they had to share in terms of, we have hope. We have hope in our climate. And that was really the theme of their presentations, of their keynotes.
And they care so much, just like everybody else at the conference. They do all this on their own dime. So we don't have a budget. They just, all the people that presented, all the keynote speakers, they did this because they care. And just so you know, Dr. Richard Alley is a Nobel Prize winning scientist too. So they said, this is amazing. We need to start doing this in more places for other teachers. So.
It's also because of this guy. No. 1000% is because of him.
So these are just some pictures. You can see breakouts. We had 3 different sessions. We had feedback of teachers that said, gosh, I don't know what to choose. It's a great problem to have. I could not pick because I wanted to go to all. And it was a logistical nightmare because I wanted to go to every single session. The rooms were full, so you can see some of the classrooms. We had a banner of Climate of Hope that every participant we really wanted to sign. We'd love to get that on the wall somewhere just to capture that energy, that hype that we had for our climate. And then you can see that is Mike Hines showing the ice core to the student volunteers. Whenever there's an educational opportunity, we will make it for our next generation.
And if you don't know those ice cores, by the way, they're from either Greenland or Antarctica. And the Antarctica, when we got donated this year, was a 10,000-year-old ice core. Wow. Talk about cool, huh?
Oh.
It's an ice core.
We got it. We got it.
All right. Okay. Well, I just pause for dramatic effect. You know.
We'll laugh later.
If you have to explain it.
Yeah. And it's a true dad fun.
So this is a highlight of Thursday.
Yes.
So at Morton Arboretum, we hosted 64 students from 20 high schools, and one of those was actually a school from Sacramento, California.
Yeah.
A teacher brought 2 students and another chaperone along with. And it was absolutely wonderful impact. You can see there are some videos. Sorry, you might have to click 2 more times. You're doing a wonderful job. This is, you can see they are actually rigging an unsuccessful attempt, which it's science, right? Experiments are going to fail. And you can click on this one and you'll see another opportunity, and that was successful. And what they're doing is that we had Alden, our snow physicist, talk to the students and did a little learning up front of how we actually extract the ice core from the ground. And then we turn it over to the students with a little bit of direction for them to design with Tootsie Rolls, very hard, Tootsie Rolls, that they have to soften, and the wood sticks that you see there. And they were able to rig a device between 2 tables to try to bring up an ice core just like in real life. And it was really cool to see them struggle, right? Like that is learning. And to them to collaborate and work together, and then the joy around, hey, we actually got it. And there was a challenge that they actually then had to roll it on the table in order to bring it to, let's say, wherever their final destination of the ice core was. So really neat event. You can see Dr. Richard Alley, our keynote. Some of these scientists dedicated not only 1 day, but 2 days with us. And we're just forever grateful for their time. And then you can see the D99 family. If you go back one more, that one picture right there, that is me with all of our students that attended this conference. So we had 13 students, north and south, of the 64 that represented District 99.
Oh, and it should be noted that the Morton Arboretum donated everything for us. The space, all the stuff. The only thing we had to get was the lunches for the kids. So fantastic. Everybody's in on it, right? This is important stuff. So community is well aware of it, and they're pitching into. So it's fantastic.
We mentioned a few, but just thank you to the community.
Yeah,
honestly.
These are all the people that showed up to Climate of Hope, right? So they all brought presenters. They all helped give away things to all our attendees. Yeah, it just shows it's important, right? And everybody's in on it. So it was great. A lot of networking. I think everybody walked away with something, whether it be a bad joke or at least some science knowledge, right? So anyhow, that's it. Yeah. Questions at all? Or,
Yeah, the passion that you guys have towards science is contagious.
Thank you.
And I really don't even like science. But I really do now. I mean, it's really contagious. And our students are so blessed to have you guys as educators teaching them every day. I mean, it's really fantastic what you guys are doing. So keep up the great work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do all this again sometime in the future, right?
Yeah.
So let's invite you guys on over. If you want to come on the same project, student conference or Climate of Hope, we'd love to have you.
And it really says a lot that the students come out on their day off to participate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think you're contributing to the reputation of our district as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you're collaborating with all of these fantastic organizations, bringing in teachers from all over the region and the country, we're all very proud of you in that regard. And I've attended one of these and found it extremely interesting myself.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. You guys all deserve a great pat on the back as you.
And
a nap.
Really, yeah, and a nap, for sure.
Yeah.
One of the things that we hold really dear to our hearts here in this district is our professional development. And I think it just goes a long way to see this collaboration between everybody in the science department. Christine is working with these guys all the time to
make sure that all of the details are set, and it was just a really beautiful day. So thank you for letting us highlight it tonight.
Well, speaking of the community, so we are all, I think we're all wearing these bracelets still.
Yeah.
So these are Show Your Stripes, and we put these together, well, we put a lot, but it's just, it takes a village, truly.
Yeah.
So a lot of our students crafted these.
We did
It's 159
in 8 days.
Wow. Yeah.
Individual beads. These are not random. These are all aligned with global temperature.
Those are the days.
Back to 1880.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So hit us up. Well, we have a couple extras.
So-
We can get you board members some.
Yeah, how do we get one?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I should have
Yeah.
brought props, but I didn't. I'm sorry.
But it's just, it's amazing to see the science department just sit down. We have a table right there, and on their lunch, on their plan.
Kids, yeah.
And the last 2 weeks that our department were just building this. Students.
Buttons,
During
stickers,
student choice.
bracelets. We
Put
had
it
our
all together.
T99 making all the stickers for the event. We should highlight that as well. That was fantastic. 900 stickers T99 put together for us. The kids designed some of the, you saw some of the logos there. Our students designed them, T99 produced them, and then we just gave them out like they were candy. So they're all over water bottles and computers everywhere now. So it's fantastic. So.
Well, if you can get bracelets for us, we will definitely
Yeah.
wear them very proudly. Very proudly.
I got it. I got it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So to continue with the enthusiasm in the room, I get to introduce Ms. Jennifer Jordan. And like you heard Courtney say, one of the things that we're really proud of is our commitment to professional development for our teachers. At DGS 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, we did a showcase of kind of our teacher rock stars to present the amazing work they're doing to their peers. It was very, very well received by our teachers. Every presenter was glowing and enthusiastic. And for us who lead that, it was some of the most positive feedback we've received from our teachers. And of that, Ms. Jordan's presentation emerged as one of the most meaningful and impactful. So we get to have her highlight that with you tonight. So here's Ms. Jordan.
Hi everyone. So yes, I'm Jennifer Jordan from Downers Grove South, and I am in the Career and Technical Education Department. And this past fall, I had the opportunity to get my certification in work-based learning coordination. ISB actually offered it to free for for teachers because they recognize how important work-based learning is. And I think one of the biggest takeaways I had from the course was work-based learning doesn't just have to happen in CTE, and I think you saw it a lot tonight in the presentations. It can happen everywhere, and I think that's something as a district we can really lean into and try to strengthen all our academic pathways with this kind of learning. So what is work-based learning? So we all kind of know the traditional sense of work-based learning of going to a job site, TCD, leaving school early to go to work, having an internship. But I want to highlight what we can do within our classrooms right now, because we know for all of our students, the ability to go to a job after school or to have half your day you're leaving to go TCD is not always possible. So what can we do right now in every class, every day, to give all students this experience? And that goes with student-led enterprises. So our jewelry area is already doing this at Downers Grove South, fixing jewelry for other people, team-based challenges, incorporating mentors into classes, capstone projects with industry partners. So anytime we can think about our curriculum of how we can bring others in from the community, again, we have a great community here that wants to help. So we as teachers can start reaching out and thinking, where can we embed those opportunities into our classes so it's not just in CTE. We really want to branch it out. And on the next slide here, I just want to point out the why. So this builds transferable skills. So work-based learning benefits everybody, right? Our high school students right now and this generation, they're not content with the question, what do I want my job to be after high school, right? They want, what is my life going to look like after high school? And by having work-based learning embedded, we can start connecting to students' interests and what they truly care about. And this is what employers want too. So it's a double-edged meaning right here. So employers want that authentic exposure, and so do our students. And then I think one of the biggest things I feel passionate about personally about work-based learning is it promotes equity and access at our schools. So for my PPL, I also did a demographic study on CTE and where we're maybe losing students or we don't have students in certain areas. And what I found was our low-income students are the lowest enrollment in CTE overall as a group compared to their demographic at our school. And so I think if we're limiting work-based learning only to CTE, we're missing that big segment of students that could really benefit from this type of work. And so they're less likely to have these work-based learning experiences. So we want to make sure that it's happening in math, it's happening in English, so that they're not losing out. And again, a lot of these are cost-saving things like dual credit, industry-level credentials, like those are things students and families want. And it complements college or career, right? It's not one or the other. Like everybody needs exposure to these things. And it helps those students kind of hone in on what their career goals are and what's gonna work for them. And studies also, I love statistics, but studies also show that students who participate in work-based learning in high school do better in post-secondary education. And so I think on the last slide here, what this really talks about, if you want to just flip to the next one, thank you, is answers the questions for students, why does this matter, right? Like, why am I sitting here in this classroom? And I think this is something we're always trying to think about, but I think now with all the research we've seen on work-based learning, we can really think about how we can truly, with fidelity, implement this. I talked during the professional development with teachers in different departments and brainstorming ways like, hey, what could this look like in your classroom? And some of the thoughts we had were, you know, in a math class, working with chart wheels, a business right inside our school. Hey, can we figure out what products students are buying the most? How can we promote this product? Like, what are the statistics? And you could even bring in PE or a health class of how can we make sure kids are making healthy choices in the cafeteria? You can, like our jewelry classes, fixing things for students. I know my fashion class, we have the care closet at Downers Grove South. So my fashion merchandising students and also the architecture students are working to develop a plan to better that, and then it'll be evaluated by people that are in that industry. So anytime you can bring in these outside sources is really gonna help our students. And so I think it was really nice to have this professional dialogue with my colleagues during this time so that we could think about, hey, wait, I could just tweak this one project I'm already doing and make it work-based learning. So I could go on about work-based learning forever, but do you all have any questions I can answer?
I think that work-based learning is really critical for our students to be prepared for their post-high school pursuits. And the more you can integrate it into all the different classes, the better they will be prepared for life after high school. So what you're doing is absolutely fantastic. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, thank you.
Agreed.
Yeah, the entire thing I think is fantastic. The ability to learn those skills early and implement them into the curriculum and take those on to the rest of their lives, like that is super important. And it sets up, like you said, like it gives them a leg up in those post-secondary spaces and professional spaces. And I think anything to give the opportunity to our students to have that like little extra jump, especially the low-income students too, that's incredible. So thank you so much for taking the initiative to do this.
Yeah, and I think too it's important if we're scaling it out beyond CTE is like, how can we start at freshman year? What does it look like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year? So we're not just leaving it to senior year and then it's like, oh man, like what am I doing with my life? And so we want to make sure students are exposed throughout their high school preparation.
Yeah, I heard you mention dual credit too. Right now I'm a senior. I've taken a bunch of CTE classes, but and I've gotten the opportunity to take dual enrollment classes and dual credit classes. And I applied to college this year, and the college that I committed to, they took all of the credits that I took, whether that was financial accounting and entrepreneurship, like just the work-based learning, the things that I've learned, and even connected, I know you would know what DECA is, like even the things I've connected, like it's just been such a great learning opportunity for me, and I just would recommend every single student to go through some type of CTE course. It saved me money, but it also, it's Right, it's a graduation
But it
requirement.
is only half a credit graduation requirement, so we could maybe even up that up a little. Even more, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, everyone.
One thing I just want to add that, like Jenny's question at the end, why does this matter? And just remember, she presented to our whole staff. And so, like I said, everyone's presentation was good. A lot of people were highlighting things they're doing, and then their colleagues got to connect and feel proud to know. But Jenny's was different because colleagues walked away being like, yes, even if I'm not in CTE, I can incorporate this easily in my curriculum. And I think teachers felt super motivated by Jenny's presentation to actually fairly seamlessly pull some of these things into their curriculum with some extra thought and some extra intentionality, not necessarily going out and do something radically different. So it was just such a nice connection that really spread to our whole staff very quickly.
That's what I was going to ask, because when you have PD, there's so many opportunities. So did you walk away with any different departments, math, science, that you heard connections that you hadn't thought about yourself, or that they came to you and said, oh my gosh, I'm now going to take it and roll with it in my own, in my own way?
Yes, yeah, so I actually, I spoke with science, and we talked about the biomedical science class and how right now it is only dual credit for a very small college, and how we can change that, and then also how they can bring in more industry professionals into that class. I also talked to a PE teacher where we talked about how you could partner with local elementary school students, because they make fitness plans and things like that. Well, how about make a fitness plan for a junior high student, to work with them together. And again, we have good relationships with our middle schools. A world language teacher talked about, hey, maybe the signage in our school, we can work to help translate that into other languages for our bilingual students.
Oh, cool.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right, so last but not least, I have Mercedes and Brian. They are support staff members in our PATH program. So I know the board is familiar with PATH, very supportive of PATH. I also know that it's been a board goal to continue making sure that our interventions are top notch. So I'm going to turn the floor over to them. But before I do, one thing I just wanted to share is our students in PATH and our ISI program are often there because they've made a bad choice somewhere along the way, and then it's our job to steer them in the right direction. And the whole goal in that is to ensure that every student can participate in all the amazing things you've heard here tonight. So our students who started kicking off about the emerging clubs, everything you heard them talk about with science and the grants, we want every student to be able to take advantage of these opportunities, and these two make sure that every student will have the chance to do that, even when they might make a bad choice along the way. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Thank you. I probably don't need a microphone. My voice carries. Very well. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Hello, my name is Brian Flood. I'm a in-school intervention supervisor here at Downers Grove South. A little bit about me is I'm a career changer into education, so aspiring educator. I was a property manager for high rises and the skyline of Chicago and hotels for about 25 years, and here I am now. Also, I want to make note, I'm also one of the assistant varsity wrestling coaches, and I just wanted to give our boys props. We did send 3 young men to state just a couple weeks ago. So.
Nice. That's awesome.
Hi, my name is Mercedes. I actually used to work in Woodridge, just up the street, at an elementary school, and I'm wanting to be a social studies teacher, so I didn't know what cohort I wanted to work with, and now that I'm at DGS, I just love high schoolers. They're pretty funny.
Just of note also, next time you see me, I'm definitely going to put some slides together. We appear to be the only ones that did not do that today.
That's okay.
As ISI supervisors, we oversee the space in schools where students may be placed for a variety of reasons. These could be attendance issues, behavioral issues. It can be where some of the students can burn off large chunks of their accumulated detentions. And sometimes it also works as a neutral space for students that may get into like a back and forth with the teacher and it gets a little heated, or might even get into an altercation with another student. It gives them a good place that they can come, concentrate on their work, and it gives them a nice neutral space to cool down. And then, as mentioned before, we also can assist with the PATH program students. Ms. Nicole Walls works out of our room. She heads up the PATH, and of course she is running around talking to students all the time, always on the move, and we're happy to assist her with that while doing our ISI duties as well. In the ISI space, we do set the tone, and we do let the students know that they're expected to exhibit the following behaviors. They need to put their phone or iPads or any personal electronics that they have on them in the caddy that's located in the corner of the room. They need to be courteous and quiet, right? Because everybody's in there for different reasons, and there are some students who take advantage of the time and use it to catch up on things that they may be missing or projects that they're working on. Everybody needs to kind of keep to themselves a little bit, and we need to respect the I guess, peace of the space. That includes no chatting or interrupting. Sometimes we do have some students that love nothing more than to interject themselves into the situation of another student, and we're quick to remind them that is not what our room is for, and we do not encourage that by any means. And they're also expected to remain on task with their homework. It's not a social hour where we're at. It's a time to catch up on your work and kind of think about like what maybe got you in there, some of your consequences. And they are expected to keep working throughout the day. And we can monitor that through Hapara, where we can see their screens. And also we like to, we love the standing desk, and we love wheeling the standing desks around and going sitting near the students and making sure they're on task. In order to give the kids clear expectations of what they're supposed to do, we have a couple documents that they send them. Miss Winter here heads up, she oversees the morning detentions, and she also utilizes that time to make sure that all the students have their ISI entry survey. This survey is a pretty simple document, but it collects information that the school can use to make decisions about like the PATH program and ISI going forward, such as like the demographics of our students, where they went to middle school, why they're in there, how many times they've been in there, and it also gives them like a questionnaire so the kids in their own voice can kind of express why they think that they've been placed in ISI, and this information can be collected and collated and used for the PATH program. Also, the students receive a student task sheet. This is a Google's document that is shared between us, the student, and their teacher. It can be edited on the fly, like a Google document, and it's very nice too, because one of the things we hear most often is students do not have anything to do, and we can pull it up and be like, I shared this with you, and your teacher is typing in there right now what you're supposed to do. So it's, and also some students have utilized it also as a way to communicate back to the teachers, like, hey, I've completed this assignment, or I've seen students, they'll see their teacher is in the shared document, and they'll type up a quick question to which the teacher can respond. Or sometimes people hit the wrong key, and it's like the wrong page number, and the student can ask to little things like that. The daily schedule, we make sure that all the students know the daily schedule, right? So when we go into the room, we make sure on the whiteboard every day the date is written, what time we are going to lunch. For lunch, our students are not allowed to go out into the commons area or the stable and collect their lunch. We will collect it for them. They receive a menu sheet that's handed back to us, and then we'll go retrieve their lunch for them. And also what time we are going for our PE. PE is essentially like, for all intents and purposes, it serves two purposes. One, it kind of gives them a break from the room, because let's face it, we're in our room for 8 hours. Anybody gets fidgety, we do. And it allows them to get up and move, and that is a time where we can relax a little bit and let them talk with some of their peers, because they're just dying to chat with each other. And also it allows students who have PE for that day to earn their PE credits by doing the treadmill at a certain speed for 30 minutes. So that way they're not losing PE credits while they're in our room. The schedule can change depending if there's like an assembly going on or if we have a truncated day. But it's important to us that we make sure that the students know exactly what they're doing and what is expected of them for that day and their schedule, because that's only fair.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes we do have students who do come in and it takes them a minute. They're not always happy, and you know, they made a choice, and unfortunately, you know, natural consequences. So if a student were to misbehave, first and foremost, before when we all come in, they sit down, the expectations are laid out right away. I personally do not play about that because, you know, you want to set the students up, because honestly, we just want them to return back to class to be set up for success. So if we do have a student come in and they're, you know, not really having a good day or they're misbehaving, we normally go down through a protocol. We normally, we will, you know, ask the student, like, we will go over to them one-on-one. We try not to put a student on blast, but we let them know, like, we give them a certain amount of, you know, reminders to just say, like, hey, this is the expectation. And if they don't want to abide by the rules first, their dean or security is notified. They'll come down, they'll grab the student. Normally we'll, you know, I had already spoken to their dean. And then sometimes a referral can be written, but I've only had to write one in the 7 months that we've been in school, which is amazing. So yeah. And then sometimes there's good incentives, like before PE. PE is normally towards the end of the day. We'll ask students if they want to go on a walk. We have a long hallway. We're in the fine arts hallway, so they don't even have to go out into the commons and see their peers. Bathrooms are right across the hall. We can sit and I can see you go into the stall or like in the bathroom, which is nice. So, you know, they can have some type of independency even though they're in our space. And, you know, it's just important for us to just have a good relationship with the students who just made a bad choice. We have students that come back and visit us, which is super interesting, but I like it. We don't normally have them come into the space because, you know, we want the students who are in there sometimes I don't want people to know that they're in there, so we'll come outside, we'll say, hey, make sure they're not late to their next class. And yeah, that's really pretty much it. It's really nice. I feel like me and Brian, we have different personalities, but we go together well. And Nicole Wallace, she's amazing with her PATH program. She's super organized. She helps us. And kudos to the deans and security. I mean, I don't think we would be able to thrive without them because they'll be like, you're calling us again? I'm like, yeah, come on. So it's really nice. And yeah, that's what we do.
Great.
Wow. Any questions?
I like to say I know ISI can be very, very challenging.
Yeah.
And to do what you do on a daily basis is not easy. Yeah. So you are definitely to be commended for what you do. But you, the two of you, are a power couple. Yeah. You have a powerful presence, and you know, it's conveyed to the students. And for many of these students, we all make mistakes. And the beautiful thing about our schools is we're here to pick you up, to support you, to get you back on track. And I can see that every student that comes into ISI with the two of you will truly have that opportunity. So keep on doing.
They'll see us in the hall and be like, hey, Miss Winter, hey, Mr. Flood. I'm like, hey. It's so good. They're not in our rooms, which is, it's nice, right?
Yeah.
So for them to acknowledge us outside the space, I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't share, which I don't think you said either, is that they're both in their first year in the district.
Yeah.
So it's been, like first year, there's two ISI supervisors. They were both vacant this summer. So when we hired, and we were pretty intentional about hiring the two of them together in our pool, and we're just super proud of the work they've done in only 1 year to really highlight and continue to grow that program.
And it's also just so nice to work under your former principal. I mean, come on. Like, when I saw her, I was like, hey. But yeah, so thank you.
Yeah. I'm just curious, how many kids do you have to tend to? I'm just curious. I'm sure it varies, right? But I'm just curious. Yeah.
Last week, Thursday, we had 8. So we do lunch detentions, period detentions, and all day detentions. So I think last week on like Thursday, we had 8 kids all day. Today it was 4, and then we had students that come in and out for a lunch detention. Okay. So yeah.
there's been a few days where we've had to tell the deans, like, stop sending people. We
I was gonna,
have-
yeah, I was going to ask, do you feel adequately supported, to make sure you can.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, okay.
Absolutely. So, just like any job, some days it's really busy, and some days, you get the kid that's just there, realizes what they've done, and they'll just hunker down. And then some days it could be an all-day debate. But, we try to treat everybody with the respect, because we understand, they want the respect and they want to be treated as individuals. So if you come to them respectfully and kind of like talk them through it, a lot of times they're receptive to that.
Well, I appreciate your guidance and your mentorship, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he's awesome.
All right, thank you to all of our staff that presented this evening. I think it gives the board a good cross-section of what's going on with our staff throughout the building. I'm going to turn now to our staffing process for the next year. Next board meeting is the meeting where we have all of our presentations. Jeff is going to preview that for you in a second. I just want to give you an overview of some of the fluctuations that happen year to year that will impact that conversation that we will have next month, or next meeting, not later this month. So just some trends that you should be aware of as a board. We have decreasing enrollment at South High this year. So dropping numbers reduces the number of sections we run and can cut into the number of teachers that we need. We also have a decrease in English learners across the district. Typically, we have a large number of newcomers that come in over the course of the year, and we haven't seen those students arrive yet this school year. So that's impacting us. Also, we have more English learners next year attending TCD, so Technology Center of DuPage, and in work-based learning programs. So you heard about that today, that's a spot where typically we don't see equity, and you can see an increase in that, which is a great indicator that we are trying to close some of those equity gaps. But that also increases the number of courses that students are taking during the day, because those programs will eat up multiple periods or use up multiple periods throughout the day. So that impacts the number of sections that they're in otherwise. So all of that together combines to a decreased need for the next year in our English learning staff, but it could be a temporary situation, right? Because next year our EL students might not choose to take work-based learning courses or TCD courses, or we could have political things change that could cause more newcomers to arrive, or EL students that might not feel safe coming to school decide to come to school. So we are really making sure that our staffing that we've been working on protects our EL staff, so that we have them still involved in maybe other subject areas that they can work in. Because it's a lot easier to find like an English teacher, math teacher than it is to find an EL teacher, right? So we don't want to release that staff and then find that in a few months we need them. So there's been a lot of collaborating with our building administration to try to make sure that through this plan that any of our full-time staff that we aren't eliminating through these changes. You'll also see Scott and Lisa and the team at T99 have a large growth in the number of students, but this is a cost-neutral change. They're working on doing two things. One, we have students that might be in an outplaced situation at a different school that's an appropriate placement for them. But now as they're moving into adulthood and staying with us in our programming, it makes sense to bring them back to the T99 setting for their 18 to 22 years of age window of time. So we have a number of students coming back to us for that part of their learning journey. And then we have also extended our program, because we do have room because of our construction and increased space at T99 to allow an increased number of outside tuition-paying students to come to us. So other school districts paying tuition to have their students enrolled with us at T99. So that has increased the number of students at T99 next year, increasing the amount of need for teaching staff. But because we're either not paying for students to be outplaced or receiving funds for students that are coming to us, we're able to add that 4.4 in teaching staff at no additional cost to the district. So, overall, we have a net decrease in 2.0 FTE in cost because of mostly part-time teachers that aren't coming back or are reduced further in part-time, or retirees that are leaving that we don't need to replace because of declining enrollment, but a total increase in staff overall of 2.4. So we're up staff, down cost, which is an interesting situation to be in. I've never had that before, but it's a good position to be in. So those are the shifting pieces that are coming at the next board meeting. We'll have members of the administrative team here that will explain kind of how the actual pieces are moving on the board to make this happen. And Jeff will walk you through what those presentations will be when we're back the next time.
Yeah, so just to kind of give you a little preview, as Hank said, about what's coming next month. As you can see, there'll be 4 sections to this presentation that you'll get next month. The first part is, you'll hear a little bit from me about our FTE allocation. So coming next month, we'll have all those numbers finalized at that point, assuming there aren't any massive shifts in anything that we might have to come and ask for additional FTE. But just kind of let you know where those numbers stand. First, for sectioning FTE, which are the numbers that are tied directly to student requests and, our enrollment numbers. And then our non-sectioning FTE, which as a reminder, are the things that aren't directly tied to those numbers. So those are positions like social workers, psychologists, things like that are supporting students but aren't based on those requests based on the enrollment and what students would like to see themselves taking in the coming year. Section 2, you will get to hear from some of our esteemed colleagues, Gina Sicardi, of course, Jake Giblin, Keith Pals will talk to you about the impact of the allocations and how things have worked out and kind of how a lot of it's a giant puzzle, right? Putting this all together when you've got the number of students and requests and courses we offer. So they're going to kind of walk through how some of those tough decisions are made and the coursework we offer and things like that. And really hear some cool things about what are some of the things that our students have chosen to explore further that are some of the Department C increases and things like that. Section 3, the esteemed Scott Wugazer will speak about some of the things going on in special services. As Hank just mentioned, we have some really kind of cool things going on with T99 in particular, where we are going to see an increase in our enrollment as well as our staff, and that's for good reasons. Some of our students are coming back to us from other places, so kind of give you a nice overview on that and some of the other things impacting our special services needs for next year. And then I return back to kind of close out the show there with section 4, kind of talking about then what is the impact then on the actual people we have this year going into next year, in particular non-tenured staff we may need to release, part-time staff we need to release, as well as the non-tenured staff that we are planning to renew for the coming year. And I'll talk a little about that. This is the last year where we have the 2 different types of people earning tenure going next year. So a few years back, the state changed a lot. It used to be a 4-year path to tenure, and then they created a 3-year path. So this is the last year of the 4-year path. So that's going to be kind of delineated in the documentation that you'll see and the explanation that I'll give you to you for this coming meeting. But just wanted you to be aware that that's still part of what's going on there. But we'll have all that prepared for you and share that information. We'll only take questions on all those decisions next board meeting on the 16th.
So we'll get into the details at our next meeting, but is there any questions generally on the process or any of the information we've shared this evening? All right.
Thank you.
More to come at the next meeting. All right, reception of visitors, any slips to, no?
Chucks.
Mike, I think you
Oh,
drew the
am I up?
short straw to read the motion.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that's okay. Can I get a motion from the Board of Education to go into closed session under OMA exception number 1, personnel?
So moved.
Second.
Chris moved, Don second. Ken
Thank you
second.
very much. Chris Espinoza,
Aye.
Ken Dawson,
Aye.
April Finan,
Aye.
Michael Riskey,
Aye.
and Katie Courtney.
Aye.
All right, we're going to be
Motion
in closed session in here, and then we will only come out of closed session to adjourn.